would like to find and connect your local network.
Yeah, and do you have a camera? Hi, Queen.
Am I supposed to be on a computer?
No, I do a computer just because it's just my thing.
Okay, so this is fine.
Oh, you're perfect. I don't like that light in the background. Maybe I could stay in there. That's better.
Is there a glare on my glasses? Should I
No,
not?
I love the glasses. I think they're amazing. And all this will be on there because I don't edit them.
Well, hold on. Let me get the scratches off my glasses.
Oh, that's fitting.
I don't know what's going to catch the light, you know?
I didn't see a glare at all.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there is a glare, but it looks good. Like, I like your glasses are a whole vibe.
The blue lens glare?
Yeah, like it's the phone.
Not,
Like I just
not a
see the phone.
cloudy glare?
No. Hi, I'm Jessica, and this is my friend
Logan, Hartnett.
Hotnet.
Hartnett.
Oh, how long have we been friends?
About
a minute.
That was 2015.
Wow.
2014.
Wow.
Somewhere.
That's awesome. So much has changed in your life since we become friends.
I feel like I've lived 12 lives.
Yeah.
Since I've been friends. I honestly feel like I'm living 12 lives right now, but
perfect. I think you're a little muffly on the. Do you have the speaker on something?
Oh, is that better?
Perfect. I just want them to be able to hear every bit of your conversation. So let's jump right in. You're an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big word, right? It's a big word for me. You've always been an entrepreneur. Like when I met you, you were making jewelry, you were making like these stone rings, and like you're always up and coming. What has motivated you? What's your background? What has motivated you to be inspired to be an entrepreneur?
Well, there's a lot of factors. I think one is that in some cases I don't work well with others.
You don't play well on the playground?
And that too can stem back as far as just me. My brother's 10 years younger than I am, so practically I was an only child.
Yeah.
And I didn't grow up in friend groups or do things like that as in high school and younger. So I wasn't used to being around groups of people in general. So then when I got into like the work world, I'm a little opinionated, I'm really passionate, and not really knowing how to communicate with people. I learned that in case, like, I love a team. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah. I love a team, but there are cases where, I just do best maybe if I'm the one navigating the team.
As every entrepreneur has ever said.
Again, I think it's just with passion, but that being an element to just never feeling like I would work for so many people. I would see how much, profit would come in, all these ideas I would have, all of how I operate is you get 100% and nothing else. Like if I'm doing something for you, you're getting a piece of my soul. And just giving out these nuggets and this effort and my time, realizing that in the end of the day, like when I would go ask for a raise or, needed maybe a day off or just asking for something in return, they're not getting it, and realizing no matter how much I pour into someone else's company, I'll never get to reap those benefits. So that was a hard pill to swallow, and realizing, and then two, I have to be stimulated.
Like creatively?
Okay. I need all my brain going 90 to nothing, irons in the fire. My husband about a month back was like, "You're so happy. I haven't seen you as happy as you are right now." And it's just because I'm busy. Like, I get flustered and overwhelmed and tired. But if I had nothing going on, I would shut down as a human.
Wow.
So I thrive in environments where I can kind of obviously control is a thing that I have. So if I can control what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, what I'm wearing when I'm doing it, that is best case scenario for me.
I love that. So like controlled chaos is your best best vibe.
Totally.
I love that. Well, for the viewer, I mean, like what do you do? What's your business? Like tell us.
Yeah, it can be confusing. Even my own family is like, "What do you do again?" So I have a clothing line, and I just launched jewelry again.
Okay.
It's been a few years since I've made jewelry, and people were asking, and so we're doing it. So I have that, and then I also do social media and marketing. So I have a business partner, and we have a company, and then I also have some accounts that I do on my own as well.
Okay. Like you run their accounts, like you help them with social media, like posting and doing all that.
Yeah, and then it also can get like a little bit more creative. Like I do an artist, all her single cover art. Just I'm her creative director, so anything over like visually what's going on, social media, ads, all of that. I have eyeballs on and making sure that her brand is cohesive and um, speaks best for her business and her listeners and all that good stuff.
So what's crazy is like you hear of businesses having creative directors, you hear of churches, you hear of all these places having creative directors, but I think we're going into a moment in history where individuals have creative directors because we have such a brand on social media that people need help lining that out. So that's what you do. You're just to help line out, make sure we're part of the vision, the brand. Because sometimes people will post something randomly and it will make no sense and it's got to look cohesive and you just help.
Right. And this is a country artist I'm speaking of. So she has to make sure that her listeners and every platform and her songs, even song titles, even lyrics, like everything has to come together with a bow. Like when you're putting out an album, it has to tell each piece is a part of her story. So the way I look at marketing is each platform, each navigation is a chapter in her book. Now, if her chapters are not aligning, then the whole album is not going to align. Then her branding is not going to align, and then it's harder to sell tickets and harder to get streams.
Yeah.
So everything it doesn't have to be the same per se. Sorry, my husband was calling me.
That's okay. Hey, Pete. Hey, Papa.
It doesn't have to be the same, but they have to speak a language. And with each album that pivots, and some people want to, some people go a whole different genre. And so then but yeah, so that's creative directing is just making sure that they all visually, lyrically, like sonically. I mean, I don't do anything on the music end, but just making sure that if a song's referencing something, then visually I've got to catch that.
Yeah, I love that because you're telling the story and the visuals of what she's implying on the thing.
Totally.
Crazy. So years ago, you told me, "Hey, I'm going to be acting by the time I'm 30."
I wondered if I ever said that out loud to anybody.
Oh, I mean, I'm your voice. Like you told me this, and I'm like, "Get it, girl?" Like, how has that come to pass for you? How did that work out when you're just going in your lane, doing your thing, and that door opens?
I will say, just on a broader scale, when you are on your path, everything that you could have ever or thought of desiring, or even being like, that'd be cool, but that would never happen to me. If you're on your path, those things do happen. Like, you don't even have to. Before all of where I'm at now, I used to think that I needed to show up in every room for an opportunity to happen. Once you step back and you stop trying to force those doors to open, those come to you. And so you don't, I mean, what she's referencing is I was in a music video, but
multiple. Sorry.
The first one happened because a photographer just reached out to me and wanted to work with me, and she was working with had a friend who was an artist, and that connected her with some other people. So that just ended up happening because the photographer was like, oh, I know a girl.
Yeah.
So I walked into that. And then the second one ended up being a friend that I made through our daughter's gymnastics class, who ended up being a country artist. And we ended up working together and also becoming friends. And at first she was like, I want a cowboy for my music video. And, we're trying to think of somebody not in their 20s. So we're like, 30s area, early 40s. And we're like, we don't know anybody single who would play a cowboy. And her husband's a cop, so he's not going to put on like a cowboy hat and play the role. And then she was like, oh my gosh, you and Peter can just play the roles. And so then I roped Peter into.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's really special that we're going to have that like later in life. We can look back.
Your kids will have it. Everybody will have it.
Yeah, I think that's really sweet. And then
hold on. Your voice cut out.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
It's because I keep moving my hand over the...
It's okay. Thing. It muted it. I don't know what happened, but I want to hear every word.
The artist that I'm a creative director for, I went there for her music video just to help style, make sure that she looked her best, felt her best, really was there for her. And we're running late, and the label's calling me, and I'm like, I know, I'm almost there. We're 5 minutes. And she was like, no, I messed up. I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, I booked the actress on the wrong day. So she was like, are you dressed? I'm like, yeah, I'm dressed. And so I packed. It's funny. We talked about it in like laughing, like if you need anybody. And they ended up, wanting to go with this girl, and she would have been amazing too. But I packed just in case. I'm like, in case they need a backup.
You were prepared for the moment.
But I was thinking like a backup, like in the back, like not the main character. So that, again, it's just these moments that when you're just I just keep my head down and I do me. And when I do that, things come to me. I don't have to find those rooms to be in anymore.
I think that's too. Do you think it's just you finally became your authentic self?
Oh, yeah. And I think, for me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, having kids totally changed just my confidence, my security in myself, my belief in myself. Like before, I would have never guessed my capacity is where it's at now. I would have never been able to confidently walk in a room the way I can now, or even speak to people. My brother was telling me yesterday, he was like, you're so outgoing and you could literally talk to a wall, which actually naturally I'm not. I'm actually really awkward and overthink, and I am more timid, but I've learned to find security in the quirkiness of the elements that are part of me. And, just not overthink and just be like, well, it is what it is. This is what you get. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. You can't see my heart, then, I'm just out here trying my best. And then you just swing. And if you miss, you just keep going kind of thing.
Swing again. So what do you just like kids change you for so many reasons, right? And then they
Yeah,
inspire you to reach your goals like never before because you want them to succeed. You want them to
right.
know, you want them to see you, mama, do it so they can do it.
Well, and it's just not about you anymore.
It's not.
Like, I think if you're, when you're younger and you're in this singular mindset and you're trying to find your way, it can be hard because it's so self.
Mm-hmm.
You're focused on you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put into perspective, like how you can, even if you are single without kids, but how what you can do can outpour to others.
Yeah.
Even if there aren't children, even if it's your friends, like if you're thinking about starting a business and you have a friend who's really struggling, but you can see their strengths,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe one of those strengths is one of your weaknesses.
Mm.
So you can grow a business where you can one day go to that person and be like, I need you here. Would you work with me? And then that you're not only expanding your business and blessing your life, you're blessing another life. And that's just like very directly. There's so many times that you indirectly bless people that you don't know all the time. If if you can broaden your perspective from self to like, where can I use my um, gifts
Mm-hmm.
in a way that maybe just doesn't affect, like maybe it's just not always about me. Maybe it's, I can use this for this because this would turn into
Mm-hmm.
something or just for good in any area.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even have to, I don't know. Like I just feel like when you start thinking beyond here.
Yeah. And I think it's just like a river, like it's just the flow. It's just flowing through you. And when you're flowing correctly, it's just like it's amazing what opportunities, because you can be trusted. You can be trusted with things. And so you can be trusted to help people and use your gift to, you know, bless others. And I think that's beautiful. And in return, you're creating a business that is going to forever change the legacy of your kids.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
think that's
that's
so
what now
beautiful.
for me a big thing is like, where if I left, where can my daughter pick up?
Mm.
Where can she start? Because a big thing that my mom's last marriage with my stepfather now, his family is like they created lineage businesses.
Mm.
And so, like, the town I live in, at one point, his family owned a lot of it.
Wow.
And through like people just selling off and like, trickling down the family line or whatever, we're down to what we have now. But having him grow up with that, and now he has his own business, and my brother and my husband work for him, and
Wow.
watching that, like and just seeing how 2020 changed everything and how we go up and down with, you know, recession and taxes and like the tariff right now. You have to think when it's about money, it can't be, or not even about money, but just like about building your life. Like you have to think beyond, especially nowadays, because it's going to be harder and harder to own a home.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder and harder to start that business. But that doesn't mean we have more resources than we ever have. So it doesn't mean it can't be done. It's just, I guess, watching all that and hindsight and being where I'm at now, because I'm only a year and a half, not even, of having the clothing line and really having these businesses starting to build. Watching all this, I just realized like how important it is, because what if one day college isn't even a thing, or only certain people can go to college, or certain, like, the how much it costs is just not even a normal attainable level, or if you do, you have, which people do have, insane college debt. And that's not something that I want my kids to start off life with.
Right.
Like, I'd rather be like, sure, go test the waters and figure out what you like. But if 2020 happens again and the whole world shuts down and you need something, I built something that's here, waiting for a moment for you to decide if you want it or not,
Wow. I love that. And you're not forcing them. What are practical, we probably have a little ADHD or ADD or some, I mean, maybe a little on the spectrum, who knows? But I'm just saying that for me. But what are practical, like, things that you have set in place that you could help a listener that you do in a day that makes your life better? I'm asking that for a
Mhm.
reason because you set alarms now, like throughout the day.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I just kind of would want you to talk on the systems that you put in place to make you successful.
My system's very unique.
I think that's
um,
inspiring because we have to, what works for somebody else, we're not cookie cutter people. So what
yeah,
works for you doesn't work. Some people couldn't have 5 jobs. Some
right.
people do better with 5 jobs.
Yeah, I have an alarm set for almost everything on my phone. And some of them are like pretty generic. Like it'll just say, you know, one of my clients' names. Because that'll just trigger something in my brain to go, oh, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And then so those are like my base alarms for my dailies. Because I have daily posts. I have, I need to check emails. I may have daily orders. And then my gritty, like day to day, I write on a whiteboard once a week what I have that week that like has to be done. And that can be more specific on like whose order I need to get out, or if I have to get a graphic done, or if, just more specific, like even laundry's on that list. And then, I'll have alarm for all my Zoom meetings. And I just have to like find my gaps on where I also wake up at the same time every day ish.
Okay.
Per my husband. He's my alarm clock, but I have to get the kids up and ready for school. So that kind of starts my day. Is he wakes me up, we get the kids ready, and then I start my trek to school. And then that's in that, I have like a 45-minute drive of getting kids to school. So in those moments, I'm kind of mapping out what are my high priorities of the day that I need to get done first. And then the rest, I kind of go through and there's things that I forget about, but that's why the alarms are handy.
That's so smart. I love that. That's inspired me so much.
Because the mundane things, like the simple, quick posts or whatever that I need to do every day, those are the things you forget about. But if I have an alarm that's told me 3 times today to make sure that I do that, because I'll snooze the alarm.
Okay.
But it comes back.
Yeah.
And my ADD brain needs that. Because I'm squirrel. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm on to the next thing. And then my alarm will come back on.
And that's
and
where the stress comes. Like, that's where the stress comes because you haven't, and the procrastination and the numbing of like, well, I can't do anything, so I just won't do anything. Like then it's like you're constantly on top of things, so you're not getting paralyzed in those moments.
Also, too, if you're overwhelmed, like it's list by list. Like I have to look. That's why I write my bigger things down on the whiteboard.
Right.
Because I have to tell myself, Logan, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Just check it off. Like it's okay. Because if I look at it from a big scale and I'm looking at everything that I have to get done, it makes you want to cry.
Yeah.
But if you break it down and you're like, okay, focus on one thing here, then
and it always gets done. It always gets done. Like it always works out. It always ends well. Like it's like the anxiety that you feel is wasted because it's going to be fine.
Well, and that's like last night I had a task that I thought was going to take me hours. And literally I told Peter, I was like, just give me 15, 20 minutes. Like I'm going to just try to do this as quick as I can. And I ended up doing it that fast.
Wow.
And so I'm like, it wasn't as big as what my brain.
It wasn't as daunting in your head that it was in your head.
Yeah. And that happens a lot when you're an entrepreneur. Like there's so many tasks in a day that you have to think about and it feels so heavy. But if you write it down, you allot, segments of time, then you start to realize it's not as big as it feels when you're writing that list or when you're thinking about all the things that you've got to do that day. Once you start putting it in motion, and that's sometimes the hardest part, is getting from the idea to the physical action.
Yeah.
And because you just get stuck in thinking about it, you're like, I don't even know where to begin. If you could just get over that hump and begin, and that's why I write it down.
Yeah.
That's kind of my beginning.
And you build trust with yourself. It's like, oh, I trust myself to get my stuff done. And then it makes you want to inspire you to probably do more, because it's like, oh, I trusted myself. Oh, I did that for the client. Oh, I followed through with that, and and I think the routine of waking up at the same time is key. Like, I think that's so vital, because it sets us in motion.
Yeah. And a big thing that, like, I feel like God's really shown me early in all this, thankfully, on purpose, because I checked out. Like, I would sit down and start making my jewelry or start my emails or start orders or whatever, and I would completely check out, and I wasn't paying attention to the kids. I wasn't paying attention to my husband. And literally, he like sat me down 2 days ago and was like, we've got to find balance. This it's what you're doing is great, but we've got to figure out balance. And it was a hard, long talk, but it was so good, and I needed it, because again, this is where these things can be helpful, and the alarms and setting allotting a time for each thing. Because once I pick my kids up from school, I don't want the image of me in their head when they're older, me in front of a computer.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, I've got to, even if it's for that first 20 minutes, and then I'll allot myself an hour back to work, and then dinner, and then I, need to unplug and until they go to bed. And then when they go to bed, maybe give myself another 30 minutes. Then that's how I've got to space and time things out, because it's easy to get consumed in your to-do list, and my ADD brain wants to, like, I have all these tabs open.
Yeah.
I want to close these tabs so I can focus on anything else. But if I sit there and focus on closing those tabs and getting everything done right then and there, that's my whole day.
Yeah.
I've missed dinner with my kids. Yeah. I've missed bedtime.
And the tabs never shut off. They'll just always be more.
Totally. Like, yeah.
Because we're creatives.
When you're done, there's more.
Yeah.
They never stop popping up, but you can't do it all at once. Like, it has to be spaced out, and you have to create boundaries, especially when you have a husband and children.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm learning myself.
I love that you brought that up. It's time blindness. Like, it's like, oh, well, 4 hours later, here I am.
I have no concept of time either. So it's hard. Like, it's very easy for me to get lost in a task. Yeah. Very easy.
And I think that's where we thrive, but it's also, we have responsibilities as well.
It's just training yourself, and it's just you got to ask yourself how bad you want it. Like, would you rather work a 9 to 5 for somebody else so you can check out and be home and know that after 6 o'clock, like, you don't have to worry about anything until 8 a.m. the next day?
Yeah.
Is that something that's more desirable for you? Or would you rather build your own schedule and figure out your own balance? And for me, it's just like, what outweighs what?
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't have a day off, technically. I don't get to check out, but you won't catch me in an office 9 to 5.
That ain't happening.
No.
That ain't happening at all. We have about 10 minutes left. You talked about something hit you yesterday like a ton of bricks. Have we already touched on that, or is that something else?
No, we didn't even go.
Okay. You want to go there now?
Yeah, I'll try to do that in 10 minutes. I'm like, speed talk, engage.
Go for it.
Yeah, so so right now my business is growing, and moves are happening that I can't really speak on yet, and I'm signing contracts and checks that like I literally don't have the money in the bank for. Like I don't have the funds. I think every entrepreneur will hit this point in their life, and it's like you're in a position where it's time to scale, but you don't necessarily have the resources or know how to scale. But you know that like it has to be done.
Right.
And I've had a lot of peace about it, but then there's of course setbacks. The devil's gonna, kind of know where to knock you down. But yesterday, when I was praying about it, God was just like, no, you can't afford to write these checks. No, you can't afford the room that you're in. But you can't afford not to. You can't afford not to sign that check. You can't afford not to get the keys to that room. Let me supply your demand. And I just sobbed because from the beginning of me having my business, like, and from now, it's not like I have this chunk of money. Like, it takes money to make money. Everything I've gotten, I've funneled back into the business. I haven't had a moment yet of like creating that backup funds to help grow.
The comfortable, the cushion.
Yeah. Cushion. Yeah. I don't have a cushion. And I don't know where these things are coming from. But at the same time, it's like, I just feel like it would be so dumb if I didn't try, like if I didn't do it. So if I have to get out alone and figure this out, I don't know what in, 6 months, even, I was going to say 32 years, but 6 months, even, I don't know what could come back, what if it comes back tenfold?
Yeah. I mean, I love what you said. I can't afford not to. Like, how many of us don't do those things, don't step in the room that we're not supposed to? Or it's faith. It's literally faith in what's in front of you to say yes. And scary as hell. Like, it's so scary, but it's faith. And then like, I can't afford not to.
And that's what, like, literally 8 months ago, I almost poured into a advertising company because I was like, this is what's going to help me scale. And then I didn't. And all of these things are aligning to help me scale. And I didn't force that. Right. It's not something that I sought out. Like, I sought out that advertising company because I thought that's what I had to do.
That was the next
and
check.
God keeps reminding me, like, you don't have to force these things to happen. If you trust and have faith, I'm going to put you in the rooms, even if it doesn't make sense. It will make sense. Like, I'll make it make sense. Just let me. And that's what I think that during this whole process, my whole story, my whole business, I feel like it's never going to be a point where like I could take any claim. Like, he's going to be like, no, I'm going to make it look impossible.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to show people what I can do. Like, it will always point back to Jesus because he made something out of nothing for me every time.
Every situation.
Everything I've been put in with, it's not like I went into anything that I've ever done with the bag of materials on my back. I just walked in because he said to walk in.
Yeah, and then he supplies all of our needs.
Yeah, and then with literally in every aspect of my life.
Yeah, and you're so inspiring with that. So to leave, what would you say to little Logan? What would you say to that little girl who had big dreams that's watching right now? Because I know that there's little Logans, and you made it. You did it for her. And so what would you say to her to inspire her?
I would just say, just seek God. Because there's not an answer. All this answer is different for everybody. Everyone's paths are different. But if you find him, he will make it all make sense.
Make it make sense.
and there's no way that I would be here without faith or my relationship. Like, I honestly feel like without God, I would not be alive.
Right.
Actually, it's that. And that's for another time, that story. But yeah, you just find God and everything else will come together.
That's powerful. I think that's our true identity. Like when we find Christ and figure out who we are in Christ, that's when nothing else matters.
Yeah. The light that everyone's searching, everyone is hollow.
Yeah.
Whether you have, believe in God or not, we are a hollow shell.
We're created.
And until you fill that with light, you will never, ever be fulfilled in any area of your life. So you have to find the light to fill the hollowness. And when you're your most authentic self, you're most confident, full of light, then you're able to walk and do things that you never thought you could walk and do before.
Yeah, and you attract people in that area, Oh, where'd you go?
Sorry.
You attract people in that area, like when you become your authentic self and when you have this light. And I think too, with both of us, we've tried to fill that void. We try to fill that hole with so many different things.
Yeah.
That we know that it's only God. And that's what I want to inspire people to know, of like, save them from some heartache. We can help you.
Yeah. And too, like, that can look different for everybody.
Yeah.
That might not be like you walking into a church.
Yeah.
For somebody, that might be it. Like, it can look different for everyone. It's just like when God sent me into my knees, when I was very depressed and did not want to be alive anymore, a situation happened and he brought me to my knees, and it was like, okay, I'll find you. Like, if you want me alive so bad, like, show up for me. And then
you were saying that to God.
Yeah. And so I'm like, if you just literally get on your knees and you're like, okay, I'm here, and if you want me here on this earth and I need to find my purpose, show up in my life. There's not been a time that you've asked God to show up and he did not show up.
Yeah. Maybe not the way we want him to all the time, right, but he will show up.
Yeah, it'll happen. Like, your faith will find you, because like I said, he creates us hollow on purpose so he can fill that space.
Oh my gosh. Your faith will find you. Wow. Well, this has been amazing. I think you're amazing. Can we see the necklace? Can we have a moment for the necklace? And Lady Logan, the brand.
I know I was going to put an outfit on, but I didn't have time.
No, it's okay. You're the most inspiring, creative person I know, and that says a lot, because, with my creative brain. But I think that's why we mesh so well. I love you, and I'm proud of the wife you've become, the mother you are. The entrepreneur is just a side gig for that, but it's like to see you successful, to see you at Times Square, to see you on the big screen. But knowing you told me you were going to do it and seeing you do it has inspired me to great lengths. We just have to know our vision, because if we have vision, then we can get there. Lack of vision, we will perish. And I think that's key to everything, of knowing what you want to do. And you've also always been that.
Yeah, sorry. Also, too, I was just going to leave it at, like, I was speaking things into existence that I didn't know I was doing. So it's, even if you are saying something and you don't realize that's vision, you have vision.
Come on.
So I just want to, sometimes I feel like people are like, well, I don't have vision, but you're telling your friend that you like X, Y, and Z.
Ask them. Yeah, ask them what your vision is.
That's speaking life into something is very real. Words have a lot of power. So
life and death are in the tongue.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you for joining me and taking the time. It was awesome. I love you. I'm proud of you, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to let you leave the meeting, because I don't know how to leave it. I still don't know how to leave it. I'm like, where do I do it?